Hi everyone, this is Angelina and I would like to warmly welcome and thank you for joining us here today for the Smada World webinar. We do have some information to pass on to you by way of an update. First, we have a bit of housekeeping to take care of. It's important for all of our members to really realize the magnitude of what we're building here as a multi-billion dollar business. Yes, that was billion with a B. What else is super important to realize and respect is the CEO of our business, Mr. Noel Adams, and his valuable time. A question for you. Would you ring up or private message the CEO of Starbucks, for example, to ask for their inside information on the company? I wouldn't think so. For one thing, you would realize that he just wouldn't have the time to chat. Not only that, can you imagine if everyone thought to contact him? How time-consuming that would be. Every day, Noel is involved with a multitude of meetings, calls, and prep work to bring our business forward. And you can well imagine the hours spent on all of this, so please be respectful of his time. Also, if you have a technical issue, you simply should not be going to the CEO for assistance on those things. All tech issues should be going and need to go through the proper support email. So once again, please do not contact Noel in PM. No one should be thinking that they can come to any of the admin team, for that matter, for inside information. Confidential information that we get is just that, confidential. And any and all information will be released to all members at the same time, not piecemeal to individuals. So, now that we've covered that, please remember to hold all of your questions and comments until the Q&A time is announced. And without further delay, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our speaker for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and our CEO and leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Webinar. And I think what Angelina has just pointed out, we do respect a lot of members. We're all in the same boat, very anxious to get information, and we try to get it as best we can. And it's just remembering that we are trying to bring this together in a uniform manner. And just remember that whilst we have many members of our admin team, and especially look, Angelina, her role in the company, she is the general manager of Smada World. So she deals with everything that Smada World has to offer out there, and it's only growing. So a lot of the things that we discuss to see what we can release out there. We're coordinating some of these teams worldwide. It's really just an area where we can't always get the information we want. There's a time zone factor all over the place, and it's just been a difficult one to get exactly the information we want. So I just would like to add to what Angelina was saying there, and just to respect our admin people out there. We've got Karen and Julie that obviously work very closely with Angelina, and look, we have a helper group out there, so we try to do the best we can with people putting in their support tickets and getting back to them. It's just very hard for us to go to individuals and spend that time. Well, look, enough on that, but I think that you get the message that we do want, and it's not out of disrespect that we don't answer somebody, or in my case, but if I keep doing it, all I have is people constantly contacting me about wanting an update, and I can't do that before we coordinate everything together. And I have a meeting with Angelina to bring it out there. So anyway, with that, I'll move on to where we're at. You may have noticed, obviously, that the NLA data website has been down for some time. Now, what's happening with that? It's been migrated over to it's called MariaDB, and this is something that we've had to put in place for security reasons on there. Look, they did tell me 3 weeks ago that there was a 14-hour work job to get it done. Obviously, it's not completed, but they are constantly telling me they're very close. So I just want to add that in, that we are working in with the banks to have this total thing put in place for security. What actually happened was that, look, I lose track of time, so I go back and check it out. But what happened was that the investors deposited their funds. It was something like $4 billion that was deposited. I think the members would have seen evidence of that when we had something like $6 billion put into the asset account. And what happened with that was that the just the way our wallets deal with things out there, and we have what we call the seed node on the NLA wallet and the coins, and these coins are traded outside the exchange. And so what happens is that when a wallet confirms something, it looks at another wallet, then it goes to the exchange, and then it goes to the seed node, and from that it then distinguishes whether or not it's a genuine transaction or not. And this was causing an issue, and it red flagged from the Flagstar Bank. Now, as you know, that they had taken over branches of Wells Fargo, so I mean, we had no idea this was all going on. So we had to then get our security people to really go over this to see how they could bring it together. So they put an additional 3 servers in there as well. That was the area that they wanted to do that, to make sure that it was all sorted out. They sent our team over, including the head of the project, out from London to America to deal with the banks, the investors, the broker, and our security team over there. We sent our dev team from South Africa over there as well. So they did spend 3 weeks getting this thing sorted out. You know, sometimes when you're dealing, the larger the team that you're dealing with, the more things that can pop up. You know, it's just one of those things, and it's look, it's just that we have accumulated a large team from the time we first started this and putting things together. So therefore, with the banks, they're managing to get on top of that, and so everything has to fit in. The seed node, as you well know, where that comes into play is the dollar coins that we are supplying to members for upgrading purposes. So once that's completed, that will no longer be there, but right at the moment it has to check to make sure that the coins are all verified and correct right through the coins in Next Level Africa and what's in the exchange and what's in wallets. So therefore it's a balance of the coins out there. Also, what happened was that Jamie, who looks after our wallets, you may have noticed that the wallets have been added to the coin exchange. You'll see that they're only on there. They haven't completed the global exchange yet, so it's only coin exchange that have the wallets. And Jamie's been compiling it. There's been a few issues. We've got members because Windows have changed the way that they read information, and so consequently some of the wallets weren't working with Windows 10. and we're getting on top of that. There are people still coming in with issues which we have reported, so they're at the process of compiling that. The Chingaling wallet is also something that they're working on, as you notice that's still down global, and that they have another few $1 billion to put into the asset account that hasn't been put in there. The priority was getting Next Level Africa completed. But what happened is that Jamie was working in Japan and his visa ran out. They worked for a week because they had the team from London over there with him. They worked for a week to try and get that issue sorted out, but they couldn't. So Jamie, actually 2 weeks ago now, had to pick up and move back to London, and the bank set him up in an apartment next to the bank office there. And by the time he, got all of his stuff back there and got organised, it took a few days for that. But he's back on top of things now, getting everything completed with the exchanges and especially Chingaling, and making sure the wallets are compiled correctly. So it's been a little bit of a challenge out there compiling things. Also, what we have done, because of the technical information required on this, in South Africa we've actually put on a person over there that manages nothing but the technical issues, and also there's been another person put on in Los Angeles that will work with the teams out there, so that when you have people in meetings, they're technical people that can come away from those meetings and have the correct information. If you don't have people that are fully technical involved with this, they can come away and the information is not quite right. That's where some of the mistakes going backwards and forwards with this security issues that are going on out there. So look, I guess where I want to really come from with this, that everything is still on the move. Everything is still happening out there. The investors are still on board. There's a special deal that's been done with them, and the bank are looking after that. So I'm not at this stage able to tell you what the deal is, but nevertheless they are certainly going ahead with it. I was hoping to get some further updates before this webinar, but I feel that they'll come in over the next day or two. So look, there are many things happening, and it's continuing to happen out there, so it can change from day to day. So I do appreciate everyone's patience on this. I mean, we're all in the same boat there now with trying to keep this I guess happening out there and keeping everybody happy. So we've had to put a few things on the back burner, which we are now looking at. So just rest assured that everything that can be done is being done on the various exchanges, the NLA database. But I'm hoping that they've got that finished in the next 24 hours, having the database, because we haven't been able to do anything in the back office for nearly 5 weeks now with this compiling the database and getting it moved over. And look, there's a cost to doing all of this, so I mean we are meeting this cost to keep this thing moving along. The more things you do, the more the costing becomes into it. And we have a lot of partners at the moment that want to really get started, and we want to be able to get started with where we're going and supplying all the things we've been talking about. I'll move on now to the e-commerce. The e-commerce platform that we've been building. Because of all the security issues and things that have been going on, that was put on the back burner so that we could complete the situation with the security and getting the NLA component, because the e-commerce platform really is nothing to do with NLA, but because we're running the whole deal there. It will be, because we'll be in charge of just how we bring them together. But one is not necessarily reliant on the other to function. As I mentioned in the early times, when this first started, the bank contacted me and said that they had $21 billion in an account that they were prepared to let us use, and that this is a growing account that's coming from a deal that was done with as you well know, that the bank were putting $20 billion into our asset account, which they certainly have now. So the asset account is now growing from money that Next Level Africa are investing. So we're now up to about 33 billion in the asset account, and that will just continue to grow. But there is another account that the banks are managing for us that goes into, it's not an asset account, it's a drawable account, and it's now up over $40 billion. Now, I guess I've been given a wonderful job on that, and that job is to simply give away the $40 billion. It's certainly a privilege to be able to put this together and have the confidence on the banks of how we will do it. So we have almost completed the necessary things we need with the e-commerce, with the presentations. We're just having meetings now to strategize and to how we run it out. The banks have given us a time slot of when they want us to release this, and they've given us the release date as the 1st of September. So we now have approximately about 6 weeks before the release on this. Now, a lot of things will happen before then as well. We'll be getting a lot of information out about it's an e-commerce and social media platform. And simply we're going to be paying people to spread the word on the e-commerce platform. We know that we're going to bring a lot of retailers and merchants into this facility, and we're going to be encouraging them to accept the NLA coin, because they will see it is backed by the banking group. A lot of press statements will start coming out of the bank on what's going on with it, so you will see a lot of information. We'll be holding webinars that will really just focus on the e-commerce side of it. So, and consequently, that the item will grow between $1 and $2 billion a month that we've got coming in. So it's not as though we've just got this $40 billion to hand out and then that's it. It will continue to grow, and as we grow the platform, we will encourage a lot more advertisers to come in there, which will also share that money with the members. So it's all about getting it out there. And how we're putting this together is that we want to pay members in NLA coin. And how that will work is that I just want to try and use an easy figure on this, so I won't go into the billions. You can multiply it with it whichever way you want. But let's assume that we paid out $1 million in commissions for this month, and that would be paid out in NLA coin. What happens from there is that we then draw the $1 million or $1 billion, whatever it is, from the account that we have, and we then take that money and we then purchase those coins from the exchange. So anybody that wants to sell their coins will be able to simply list them in there at the market maker's value, if that's what you want. If they're scarce, you might find people list them for over that value, depending on, it's all about supply and demand. And remember this, that the dollar coin will be gone at that stage, so people will only be able to purchase their coins from the exchange or from individuals on things they want to do as far as upgrading their membership in or joining Next Level Africa and other programs that we do have running as well. So by doing this, it will increase the usage of the coin, and in increasing the usage of the coin, it will increase the value. We are approaching $500 for the coin now. I believe that when we get the e-commerce platform going and social media platforms going, I believe you'll see our coin quadruple in its value. I mean, there's no limit how high the coin can go to. We have 100 million coins, and so we are in a position where we've certainly got enough coins to cater for what we need. So what I'm saying to you is that if anybody is interested at the moment, because we are running very low on the founding member packages out there, and we've had a lot of people interested in doing something on it. But remember this, that the founding members will be the only people that get a link, and they will be supported entirely by the company as well. They can also go out and promote their own link, if you like, because the only way that you'll be able to join the e-commerce is through a founding member. If you join through the company, you'll be placed under a founding member. So that's how it will be running. So it's really, we've opened this up only for NLA members. But what's happening at the moment, we've got NLA members bringing in new people that are very keen to want to become part of this. So we are just doing it case by case out there so that we can see who we've got and who we allow to be a founding member. The founding member packages have increased because they're based on the price of the coin. And some of the packages there, people are going to, I don't want to overstate the value of what people can earn on this, but it is going to run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars that people will earn from this. And then who would know what you would possibly earn? I'm just talking about the NLA component. The e-commerce is an unknown for us out there, but I can't see any retailer not wanting to bring his database into this, because he will be paid for the introduction of his database without them spending any money at all, just by joining up. By joining up, you'll receive a monthly commission payment, and then anyone that you introduce into the system, you'll receive an income from them. We will be releasing the full compensation plan over the coming week or so, and we'll be able to give you further information. We will hold a presentation webinar that will just cover the e-commerce component of it, because we don't want to mix people up with some of the questions they may want to be asking about what's happening with the NLA component of it. So we'll hold webinars that will just cover the e-commerce social media platform. But we are expecting to have some very large retailers become part of this, and there is nothing ever been released like this. I just feel that what's happened with this out there, it's been built by the members because of their loyalty through the program, and we want to make sure that our member base gets rewarded for their patience. And I guess that we all want to see this on the move. Once it gets on the move, we've got some other companies and other ventures that we'll be going into that will allocate them to have our coin used in there, and I'm sure that once people see what's going on, I mean, the only reason that people buy the likes of Bitcoin is because there's a belief in it. That's what it comes down to. There's a belief that the coin can be purchased. There's a belief the coin can be sold. The reason I follow Bitcoin is because it's on our CEX, And so opening up CEX, you see the price of Bitcoin every time you open it up, and it has fluctuated. I mean, there are obviously people that would have paid in the order of $13,000, which it was a few days ago, and then it's now dropped down to about 11.5. So you can lose money on that. When I say lose, you only lose when you sell it. I mean, 18 months ago, the Bitcoin went to $20,000 a coin, and there would have been people that did purchase with that sort of price on there, and really can't sell it until it goes over that value, otherwise they lose money. Our coin, the way we've got it out there with our asset account, unlikely for it to ever go down because of the money that's coming in through the coin sale and the asset that we put in there. So it's going to be a very interesting thing, and once people have that belief in our coin, then we'll certainly have a lot of people wanting to make sure they've got that coin in their portfolio of cryptocurrencies. That's why I went for the staking of the coin in preference to mining, because of the value and people wanting to hold coins and stake them and earning money from that. We'll have people that will have enough coins that they will virtually live off the staking of a coin, because approximately, look, it's about 1,200 coins would give you a coin a month, and we certainly have people with in excess of 1,200 coins. There's been 80-odd thousand coins traded on the exchange over the last probably 2 to 3 months. And people are exchanging them. The main area is people exchanging the NLA coin for Bitcoin. So both parties are happy with that as well. And so people have accumulated quite a few coins just by being able to purchase, people trading their coins there. So everyone seems to be happy with the value on it. But very shortly, those prices you see in there will no longer be there. It's who's going to be selling coins at the value that we see them there now, when the NLA coin will start seeing $500 and $600 and plus per coin and being sold for that, because we will be, to start with, the main purchasers of those coins. All right, well look, that's really all the information that we have. We're going to be getting quite a bit more information. The confirmation that these migration of the database is completed, the NLA up and running, and the wallets recompiled so that they all work. We've been sending off information. So just getting the housekeeping in place and getting things ready to go. But the e-commerce is certainly something that we will be spending a bit of time on. And believe you me, that once we release this, there won't be a person on this planet that doesn't know about it, because of the amount of money that we'll be handing out, and which once again has never been done before. All right, look, I'm going to hand this back over to Angelina now. We'll do a Q&A. I can answer with what I know of what's happening, and we'll see how we go with being able to answer some of your questions. All right, I'll hand this back to Angelina then. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. That was a lot of very good information, and I'm sure it'll take us a little bit to digest it, and that's why we have the recordings. I can see that people are fast and furious typing in their questions already. Okay, can you maybe just slow down actually a little bit so that we can have a chance to answer them? Okay, the very first question is coming from Pappy, and he's asking about what is happening with the line 7 of the matrix. So maybe perhaps you can start from there, Noel, and thank you for spending this time with us to provide this information. I'll send the mic back over to you.
Thank you, and thanks for that question. Look, as I mentioned before, we have not been able to get into the back office or into the NLA for 5 weeks with this migration going on. So we certainly are there ready to jump onto this and bring line 8 and 9 together as well, but we can't do anything because we have got no access to getting into to do anything in Next Level Africa. So I'm hoping to have that completed in the next 24 hours, and we'll be able to get started on that pretty well straight away. Helen's asking, will the investors purchase before the e-commerce opens? I guess I can only answer that with their money's in there. Right, they've got $4 billion that's in there. They're just getting organised now how the market maker releases the coins, and the wallets, as you know, they're having a few issues with the wallets. I want to make sure that's completed so that the coins can be transferred to the wallets. I don't want these people to be downloading and deleting wallets all over the place. We've got people with wallets that are frozen. My wallet works perfectly, I guess, so, and there are others with wallets that work perfectly, but it depends on what windows you're running. So we are hoping that the trading with the investors will happen well before the e-commerce opens out there. With the asking how much the founding member, there's quite a bit to it. So if Angelina might be so kind as to put the support at smada.world in there, the email, so that you can apply for information on that. So you'll get a full detail of how the thing is, that the where we are with it. Okay. The other thing too is Andrew's happening, but as I mentioned before, that we can't get into the, so that question has really been covered. We can't get into the database. I've got here Philip's asking that why have you set up blockchain and have not listed on the public blockchain? How are we supposed to sell our coin? The coins aren't sold on the public blockchain. Blockchain is designed to manage our coin. Once the coin is trading, that they will automatically list the coin on these public blockchains. But our coin is under the radar at the moment. So we have built our own blockchain, so everything can be tracked in that, and the sale, the movement of coin is all tracked in that, and that will eventually go into public blockchains as they see to put them in there. I mean, not all coins are listed in a blockchain. So the blockchain technology is not necessarily just for coins. There's a lot of things going through blockchain. You've got produce and livestock and medical, all going through blockchain. So it's a technology, and we have built that with our blockchain. If you look into the CEX site, you'll see our Explorer there. That's our full blockchain. And we've been testing that out to make sure we're right with it and it's working perfectly. So it's a way that we can track our coins. So when you do blockchain, people are not purchasing coin. It doesn't represent it. Might show the high coins that are trading out there, but nevertheless that ours will appear there once we are trading correctly with them. Nigel, what is the status of the plans of a bit card from either the company or exchanges? They've got that in the pipeline there, Nigel, with the card. That will be something that they will most definitely be putting in. I can't give you a time frame on it, but that was, we had a team go to the States probably 18 months ago now to put that in place. So we'll be most definitely getting a card in there. And there's look, I'm getting pressure. The reason that this came up about the red flagging from the bank is to do with our coins that we're letting members have to upgrade at $1, because these coins are trading off the exchange. So I've been pressurized by the bank to try and bring this to a completion. So there are things out there that we need to make sure we're on track with it. I want the members to have as many coins as possible out there, but that's coming to an end very, very shortly. So look, the CEX helpline, we are putting that in place now out there. There's limitation to how much help that can go in through there through exchanges, but nevertheless we are putting that in place now that we've got things completed with the CEX, and there should be because there are certain things the banks hold close to them, because we share the running of CEX, if you can appreciate, just so that people know that the bank manage all the funds in the asset account. We have no access to those funds, and that's good, because if anyone tells you, watch this Noel Adams character, he'll take off with all that money. I have no access to that money. It's managed by the bank. So we are just slowly, as far as information on members within the CEX with their information in there, we have no access to that as well. So the bank manage all of that out there. We just look after driving the purchases to the exchange and trying to monitor what coins and what they're being sold for. I mean, we have people, if we didn't get onto it, that they're wanting to put ridiculous prices in there. It's all to do with a dollar coin. People have managed to buy coin at that, or receive coin at that price, away they go with it. But we are most definitely wanting to put the support as much as we can on the CEX. Right, is anything going to be changing with the fee for NLA coin when we move from the exchange to the wallet? It shows a one whole NLA coin as the fee. Yeah, look, we are discussing with them on that, Tom, because if you draw a small amount, or you draw 10,000 coins, it's one coin on there. So so I'd really, you know, they've got it all over the place there with it, so we are talking to them on that. I thought we managed to get it sorted out with them before, but they, you know, if you were to draw 5,000 coins, you pay one coin, and if you draw 100 coins, you'd pay a coin. So I need to get them to try and sort that out on there. Bernard asking to go over the September 1st release date. That's the e-commerce I've been talking about there. So the bank have given us, you know, ready or not, they want it out there launched by the 1st of September, so we can start handing out some money. So we're working on that now to bring everything. Look, this e-commerce is something we started building 5 years ago, so it's not new. So we're just refining it to suit what the banks wanted to make sure they were, you know, in the loop as to what was being handed out, so they could see what the members were drawing out there and what we, you know, what we are paying out, so that no one can argue with any funds being misappropriated. So we have put that in place for them now, and they're happy with that. I'm not sure what you mean about when will the crowdfunding become available, and we are still working on NLA to get that completed. Remember this, that we are still doing the deal with the bank where they're giving us $100 billion a year to hand out to humanitarian projects. So we will be implementing that once they complete. We just need to get the NLA completed, and that's been the priority. I want them to complete that, and so once they complete that, we can then go and sit with them over in the States and state our case as to what we need and how it grows for the amount of money coming through for the humanitarian projects out there. Bernard, the blockchain will go public, but that's up to the people that list them on their blockchains, that they will be the ones who determine that. And I'm sure that once we trade in ours with a coin, people will want to list it on there because it'll be a very sought after coin. Yeah, June, asking about anyone can purchase from the e-commerce site, from the merchants. The merchants will set up their various operations out there on how you purchase, and not every one of them will want to collect coins, but you know, as we build confidence in the coin, the merchants will start taking the coins, and we're looking to do that because they'll realise the bank is behind it there. So that's where it is, and you'll see once the merchants start listing in there, there'll be certainly a lot of merchants will take advantage of taking our coin, I'm sure. Luke's asking that there was a second increase of 790 million 2 days after the big one that was at the investors' money. No, that's just the money that we have flowing through. In fact, there'll be another increase, I should imagine, next week on our coin. You'll see that happen. It should happen every fortnight. So so that's just the money that we have coming through, the money that we're now investing, and the bank are managing that for us. So that will become part of the money going in, so investor money, and you'll start to see the asset account really starting to jump shortly. Alex is asking whether the e-commerce side of things are going to directly battle the Facebook Libra coin. Look, there are many things out there. We are going to be taking on people like eBay, Amazon, Facebook, and what we're doing. So we'll be battling everybody, I guess, but there's enough room for everybody out there. So anyway, that's a given out there, that we'll be taking on everyone, but no one will have the backing that we have behind our coin. I don't really want to comment on the Libra coin because they haven't released it out there, so I mean there's a lot of speculation about it, so I'm not the one to talk about with that. For the e-commerce site, will it go into beta test, and how long will that take? Usually when things go into beta test, they go into beta test to make sure it's working. So to answer that would have to be when it's working. It'll go to the public, but they need to get it in there, because sometimes when you have things set up and you think, oh, that's fine, and you have two people involved with it, and yeah, that's all working, then you get 200 people involved with it, and little hiccups start to happen. So beta testing is something you do with every program you put out there to make sure it's ready to handle the masses. James, will we still be able to earn the coins annually? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, if you're talking about with NLA or the e-commerce. I mean, you pay the coins when something happens in your account. So whether that's every 5 seconds of the day or annually, that's what happens out there. So certainly we're not taking away any of that component. Margaret, date of the bonus package from BCN renewals is in September. Will that be extended? I'm not sure. We're talking about the NLA component of that. The BCN, we're not privy to what they're doing. It's following where they are with their mining. Has had a few things going with it, but we'll make sure that our members are catered for with the delay that we've had out there, so no one will miss out on things we need to do there to make sure it's right. I was asking information on UPB. The last I heard from David that they're trying to get some things in place, so he's still online to release it. I was under the impression it was going to be released a couple of weeks ago, so they're still working on it, but it's, as far as I know, they are going to be using NLA coin in there as well, so we'll be putting the API together with other things we're doing for them, so their programmers will be working with our team to get that in place. Yeah, look, Nigel, once again, I know they were looking for a product. They had to get some product in there, and so they were putting that together. That was the last stages of their program, and I'll probably catch up with David next week and maybe get an update from him. I think that they're having issues releasing information out there. Rosalind, who works with David, has got computer issues at the moment or something out there, and so there hasn't been too many releases. We can't put releases out there on what they're doing because it's nothing to do with us. All we are is involved with. The reason I get information out there is that David's asked me to be the master distributor for the product. So once it's released out there, we'll have a bit more information. We'll work with them closer on that, but the release is entirely up to them. Bernard, look, the e-commerce and the investors are really nothing to do with each other. The investors are a separate item completely, and they're just purchasing the coins. They don't. They probably know about the e-commerce because this is all to do with driving the price of the coin up. So, but their purchasing of the coin has got nothing to do with the e-commerce. The coins could be purchased at any moment now, and I don't want to make too many comments on it because every time I make a statement, it could sound like I'm hyping it up. If it doesn't happen out there as well, it comes back to me, so I'm reluctant to. And the same as my development team. Everybody's a little bit hesitant to give information out there because it tends to not happen more so than happen, or it's delayed out there, but believe you me, it's all happening in the background. Andrew, you're asking about over 2 months ago you received an email that coins will be added to your account. I'm not sure about that. I'll get someone in support to have a look, but as I've been saying all the way through, we can't get into the back office of NLA at the moment. So anything to do with NLA, I can't answer the questions out there because we're waiting for access in there with the new migration into the MariaDB. Helen's asking what the market maker is the person that controls the coins, the value on the coins and releasing the coins. So that's his job. When we say his job, he probably works with a team, but it's independent to the banks, independent to us. The market maker sets the value of the coin, same as you see Bitcoin prices out there, that's set by a market maker. So the market maker controls the release of the coin and the value on the coin. He has been appointed by the bank, but it's independent to the bank. Okay, look, I think we've covered the questions there. Ruth's asking, have the investors got their duck? Yes. They are just waiting for the clearance to be able to purchase the coin. You will see a massive purchase happening very, very shortly in there. So I'm hoping that's very shortly. Nigel, is there an approximate overall percentage of annual NLA position renewals that have taken place? Well, I can't look into the back office, so I'm not sure what you're asking there. You're asking how many people have upgraded, or I'm not sure where you're coming from with that, but we can't see in the back office, so I can't tell you if how many people have upgraded. But we are expecting, as soon as we open up the site, there's a massive amount of coins to be added into the site, and there'll be some major upgrading happening there as soon as the site opens. All right, look, I'm going to hand this back to Angelina to close up. Thank you once again, everybody, for turning up. But believe you me, there's nobody keener to get information out there to you people than our admin team, myself and the admin team. We do really want this information out there, but we don't want to put out false information. And so we're very, very careful on what we release. We are controlled by what we can release from the banks, and I don't want to overstate what's going on out there, but there's nothing stopped. We have no negative news. It's all positive news. People are still there, and now that we're getting started on the e-commerce, that will certainly lift investors out there as well. So that's where we are. All right, I'll hand this back to Angelina, and thanks again, everybody, for turning up.
Thank you, Noel. And that was a lot of very, very detailed information for their questions, and I appreciate it. And I can see from all of the comments that everyone else is appreciating the information. So thank you, everyone, for coming out today, and continue to watch the Skype rooms for further updates. Everyone enjoy your day wherever you are. Thank you. Bye for now.